Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It's already Monday. Okay, let's get on with the festivities here. So, yes, Monday, June 6th, 2022. Where to start? Let's look over at the market first, okay, because I have a few things I want to share with you. Stock futures are higher across the board, pointing towards gains right at the open. Will we hold? Well, let's put that into perspective here. We got a 10-year yield 2.97. It's pretty much going exactly to plan as you and I have spoken about here. We have crude oil WTI above $118 a barrel. Okay, market likes it here. You know that, in my opinion, going much higher. The comparative strength or relative strength of the dollar is slightly weaker. Okay, so what's the setup look like this morning? Not too bad. Really not too bad for the market. We got Bitcoin right now over 31,000. Okay, big whoopee do. We got Bitcoin stuck in a tight range for quite a long time. We'll see where this goes. You know my take on this long term, people. I don't believe I need to cover this again, but I'll just tell you real quick. In my opinion, Bitcoin and the other big cryptos will be going much, much higher. When? Well, I'm pointing my fingers over at the debt market implosion, where I believe cash is just going to move into commodities and into cryptocurrencies. That's my take on it. You are certainly entitled to your opinion. Now, gold, especially silver this morning, higher very nicely this morning. Okay. I think, again, you all understand the importance of betting against the debt and becoming your own central bank. These are no-brainers in my opinion here. Okay, so speaking of crude oil here, going back to WTI over $118 a barrel, if you recall just recently, I'm laughing. I hate to laugh at these things, but it's too much. So we all know that, Saudi Arabia said, oh yeah, we're going to make up the slack here because of Russian output, whatever it might have been with regard to crude oil. And the Saudis, oh, they're happy to make up the difference for us, but they just jacked up the price of crude oil. Make it up. Make any of this stuff up. Honestly, people, you can't possibly do it. No one can. So yeah, sure. Oh, don't worry. With the issues with Russia and sanctions and everything else and the crude oil and inflation. Oh, don't worry. We're going to make up the difference for you. But we're going to raise the price. Imagine my shock here. No one can understand my shock. Look, going back to the dog shit, cat shit narrative being fist fed by the mainstream media. Oh yeah. Oh, don't forget that inflation is peaking. It's peaking now. So everything's going to get better for you. Oh, yes, it is. How about there is no chance in hell or outside of hell or anywhere else that inflation is peaking, number one, or is going to get better anytime soon? People, let me put another perspective on this for you. What do we know has gone on now for well over an entire decade? We have had easy money from central banks propping up stock markets, causing a massive wealth transfer effect, robbing the middle class blind, or anyone with an interest earning account blind. That mechanism is obviously creating, or a big part of why we're seeing this new feudal system evolve, rob the middle class blind via an interest earning account, make sure they don't earn anything, and make sure that wealth gets transferred right up to the 1 and 2 percenters here, and everything is just lovely. Obviously, that's the way that's going here. But when you have central banks around the world adding digits to a screen, printing cash out of thin air with regard to the Federal Reserve, funneling dollars around the world to other central banks who are using dollars, not their own currencies, dollars to buy assets. Well, what would you expect to happen other than surging, skyrocketing inflation? This is no surprise to a single person that follows this blog, nor is our current global economic meltdown that's underway right now. And it has got a lot, it's going to get a lot worse moving forward. I think we are all well aware of that too by design. But the point is, how these institutions, Federal Reserve, other central banks, can sit back here and tell everyone, oh yeah, first of all, it's transitory, which we all know it's not. I'm laughing again. Here we go. Janet Yellen, oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Really? No, she lied. And we all know that she lied because you and I realized from day one, when they started using that transitory or temporary or whatever thing, that was going to be bullshit. We knew that. Anyway, when you have central banks that are on a mission here to inflate via any method necessary, again, even crisis to crisis to crisis, how can they try to convince it that, well, they are trying to convince people that inflation is going to miraculously stop? It can't. I've put this into a perspective like this. When you have central banks on a mission like they have been for over an entire decade here, it's going to take an enormous amount of effort to slow down the pace of inflation. And what the Fed's doing right now with nudging the federal funds rate higher, making sure, sit down for this one if you're not, making sure that they keep the benchmark rate way less than the actual rate of inflation, which they clearly are. I mean, it's a no-brainer here. What does that do? It guarantees, it's a lock and it can't be changed. It guarantees that not only are we going to see more inflation, but a lot more inflation. And then with this issue with crude oil in Saudi Arabia, come on. This game has gotten so twisted, but still, where is everyone why are there not people revolting in the streets today? Could you imagine if they tried to pull anything like this off with, I don't know, during the reign, if you want to call it that, of our forefathers who tried to get this country going? There'd be revolts in the street. There'd be people out there with pitchforks right now. But no, today, everyone just sits back and does nothing at all. They just allow these things to happen to them. It's really and literally the boiling frog syndrome. Anyway, look. So let's just summarize here real quick. You got stock futures higher across the board. The setup for the market is not bad this morning. Let's see how this plays out. In my opinion, gauging from the 10-year yield moving higher, what does that mean? Yet again, people, you know what this means. When the 10-year yield is moving higher, which you would expect to see, okay, in this environment, federal funds rate getting nudged higher, some type of quantitative tightening, yeah, right. And before quantitative tightening or the illusion of it, whatever, I explained that the 10-year yield would be above 3. We were above 3. Then all the fear and whatever, propaganda, monkey pox and dog shit pox and everything else. What happened? We had a sell-off in the market, 10-year yield drop, fear trade, cash going into the, I'm laughing again, perceived safety of debt and the dollar. Okay. And then, we saw how that whole thing played out. But this cash leaving the debt market now, capital inflows into this market are continuing to rise. So it looks like a no-brainer to me. Last month was a positive month for the Dow and the S&P 500. Nothing dramatic, but positive nonetheless, after being down every month since January. And I still believe, and I said it on the first of this month, that by next month, this market's going to be higher. Let's see how that plays out too. Anyway, look, you all know the story here, but what do you think about Saudi Arabia? Oh, they were so nice to say, don't worry, we'll make up the difference with regard to Russia. But then, of course, what do? They raise the price. Oh, imagine. Imagine how shocked you are. Forget about Greg Mannarino. You must be just as surprised as me, right? Freak show, people. I don't know another way to put this. Absolutely freaking insane. Okay, with that said, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I will see all of you later. And tell me one thing before I let you go. Where are the revolts? Why are people not up in arms right now with what is going on? Because again, what? They're being told to look at this, don't look over here, distractions, deflections, lies, propaganda. People don't know what to do. But this is, you think that's by accident? Really? Honestly? You think so? Yeah. How about no? How about freaking no? Love you a lot. See you later.